Okay, back. Continuing on, I forgot where I go.
Selling, buying, trading right here.
How are you guys?
Planning to improve your equipment while you're here?
You're not
The
here.
Hist will abandon us if a Dominion soldier communes with it.
If you're here to complain about the Dominion soldier's presence, I've already heard every complaint you can imagine.
The Dominion here?
The soldier in question, Captain Hinamo, announced himself and his intentions to undertake the trials of the burnished scales. By holy tradition, pilgrims who declare themselves may not be harmed. The Hist alone decides his worthiness through the trials.
Would these trials interest the Dominion?
Those who complete the trials may commune with the Hist. I don't know why this interests the Dominion, but I fear it is no good for Shadowfen. Perhaps you could find out yourself, take the trials, and keep an eye on this enemy of our people.
Keep an eye on Captain.
The Trial of the Mind is your first challenge. The trial is located in a hut on the northwest corner of the pyramid.
Why does a pilgrim have to complete the trials to commune with the Hist?
All are as one within the Hist. To be as one requires discipline. The trials prove your commitment. They also test your body and mind. We must see if you are capable of surviving the process without dying or going mad.
Don't want to be. So. I think it's gonna make me.
The Dominion will destroy us all.
Remember me, a tunnel, a cave, dark, damp, and warm. Scalesong ran toward the hazy light, hearing his footsteps echo in the narrow passage, thinking deeper into the mud. How can I sink in this? He asked aloud. I am of parents born in Black Marsh. When he could no longer move, Scalesong bowed his head, listening to the moisture dripping from the roots twisted above him. Soon it would be over. He would return to the Hist. How embarrassing, though, for an Argonian to suffocate in mud. His eyes opened suddenly. He had the same dream every night for weeks. Each night he felt as he was nearly at the cave's exit. Everything would be made clear once he reached it, and each morning Scalesong awoke no closer to understanding the meaning of the imagery. Clearly, the Hist speaks to you, said his egg brother Gashtail. Tonight ask what it wants. I'll try, said Scalesong, but I never remember it's a dream until I awake. Gashtail reached into an earthenware jar on the shelf beside him. He handed Scalesong a thick roll of leaves tied with twine. Burn this, he said. The incense may clear your mind. If the Hist wants you, you must listen. Scalesong nodded. Advice like this was precisely why he sought Gashtail's help. For the first time in a long while, he couldn't wait for night to fall. The burnt incense filled his hut with thick gray smoke that coiled heavily along the ground like fog. Scalesong hadn't expected it to smell so horribly. Still, he watched the smoke spread slowly throughout the room, his eyelids growing heavier and heavier. Cave, a tunnel. Smoke drifted along the muddy floor. Scalesong stopped running and reached out a hand towards the smoke. Talk. Ask. Speak. You're trying to tell me something, he asked aloud. I am dead. Dead? Who are you? The smoke coalesced into a shimmering figure, hooded and cloaked. Its tails twitched. I am dead, the figure said. Without it, all that I am will be lost forever. Find it. Remember. It? What is it? Scalesong followed the figure through the dark passage. His feet no longer sank into the mire, as in all the other dreams. They walked in silence. Scalesong was alert, but untroubled. It seemed like hours before the pair reached the tunnel's exit. The shimmering figure sighed deeply, pointing towards a shriveled tree. A Hist, said Scalesong, surprised. Is this it? Is this dead? But how? Remember, said the figure, unfurling into the wind, but not before it pressed a mnemonic egg into Scalesong's hand.
Shimate presides over the trial of the mind, the first challenge. He'll administer the trial to any supplicant.
The Shadow Scales have defeated the Dominion at Murkwater.
Murkwater? That poor village. I hope the Shadow Scales made the Dominion's conquest a costly one. Shimate presides over the trial of the mind, the first challenge. He'll administer the trial to any supplicant.
Get the Dominion scum out of here!
What? The pain's gone! I feel strong again. Fully healed. Where's my father? I must go to him.
He's dead. I found his journal and brought the cure.
Dead? Then the guides told the truth. Thank you for my strength and my life. I'll visit Moloch's fury upon our clan. They'll pay the blood price for abandoning my father and me. When I leave this place, I will need all my strength. I thank you for my life.
What will you do now?
Return to my clan's stronghold. Depose Glurig and exact the blood price for my father's death. If they'd marched with him, he'd still be alive. My people would still have a worthy chief.
Why didn't they march with him?
Glurig told them a woman was not worth the effort, no matter her strength. According to my sister, Glurig seized power when we left. She sent word he'd even taken my father's wives for his own. Coward. He dared only with my father gone.
Don't need it.
Quality material makes for quality goods.
What separates us one from the other?
Scale, skin, blood, and bone. We are one in the Hist, of course.
No, not the separates. The Hist is then, now,
Scout report,
and forever.
Arx
We are
Corinium.
always one.
Suspected
Hist.
activity at Arx Corinium. A large number of wild creatures have been spotted in or around the Arx Corinium. These creatures are highly aggressive, even those not usually assumed to be aggressive. Advise caution when traveling near the abandoned prison of Arx Corinium. Be advised, llamas have been spotted near the area. These creatures are reclusive but highly aggressive when approached.
What a fortuitous event meeting you here. I hope your hunting went well.
I did, thanks. And what are you doing here?
Settling a bet with my friend Angwe. She disparulted my profession, and I mean to see that she is properly punished. You know something about our wager, I believe.
I can't lie, right? Yes, in fact, she had me do her hunting for the meat I found.
My gratuitousness knows no bounds. I'm not certain my reputation would survive the humiliation of paying off this bet. Here, take this. It may not help a hunter of your obvious adroitinosity, but you deserve something for your efforts. Your perpetuity has been exposited. Now pay up, Angwe.
Binazi is a hunter, he hunts both east and west. If you ever need a hunter, Binazi is the best. I'll never be able to show my face in Hismir again.
The only one looking. I think you're probably fine. that's not where
You say for this next trial I'll need to run? Fine.
Pilgrim, the trial of the mind awaits below. Your goal is simple. Show you comprehend our past.
What can you tell me about the trial?
Communing with the Hist teaches who we were before, makes us what we are now. To remember our ancestors' deeds is to know ourselves. Learn of our past, and act with what you gain.
I'll go take the trial of the mind. I love that it's always the chutney. Means hate it when they're technical. I love the story ones when it's like they're talking about. I guess. Okay. The true balance, root in the stone, communion. I love his sap. Story. The lost communion. Before the Hist, nothing existed. The Hist meant everything and provided all. Lorelet knew this. Every Argonian knew this instinctively from hatching. Why, then, wouldn't the Hist speak to him? Didn't the old story say the Hist talked to its people? Day after day, Jerolet burnt offerings and made sacrifices. He chanted and he prayed. He ate little, and his efforts concentrated upon renewing the ancient connection between the Hist and its people. One morning, his wife insisted he eat a full meal. No matter how much you wish it, you cannot feast upon the Hist itself, he gently chided. Jerolet blinked at her as her words pierced his thinking. Hist sap, he cried, touching his forehead to hers with affection. Though no alchemist, Jerolet concocted formula after formula. He distilled various ichors, combining each one in various amounts with his sap, tasting them all, making adjustments. He felt the Hist urge him on, demanding he break through the silence. Finally, he drank his master decoction. He savored the thick, sweet syrup coating his tongue. Standing quietly beneath the Hist out-straight boughs, his eyes glittering with comprehension. I am your child and your servant, he whispered, and the Hist showed him all things. The fruit in the stone, hunger, thirst, water dripping upon saturated moss, a wound on the Hist tree oozing sap like Hunger, thirst, water dripping upon saturated moss, a wound on the history, oozing sap like slow tears, golden light piercing the darkness like an arrow, lightning, sparks. Bitsy blinked several times considering the visions. Why did the Hist show her the same thing? She wondered if her meditations were any use. She touched the fruit, nudging aside the woven twigs forming in its nest. They called it fruit as it came from the Hist, but none ate this hardened lump. This fruit was exceptionally rare, and yet the Hist wanted her to bring it to Hismir, use it somehow. Why are you so important? She asked, turning the dark brown orb in her fingers. She rubbed it softly, marveling at its smoothness, like scales but without edges, like an egg, like glass, like a zatstone. Connections jumbled together in her mind's eye, then spooled into the correct order. Unprepared for the onslaught, Betsy cried out loud. The others glanced at Betsy in irritation, their meditations interrupted by her outburst. And then understanding rippled through them as well. Betsy held the Hist amber aloft and marveled at its simplicity. That stones would protect his mirror, but... The true balance we must warn Awas. The Kathringi are nearly upon us. The two Argonians exchanged glances, the movements of their dark eyes a mere flicker of light in the shadows. Go, hissed Sanax, and slipped into the murky waters. Junie followed her slow progress. Fires burned at the swamp's edge, creating a thick smoke only Argonian eyes could pierce. Or so he thought. Axes glinted and slashed, and Junie heard a strangled cry, then nothing. Who knew the clumsy dryskins could move so silently? She swore an oath and eyed the dirt path to the Zanmir. It was longer and exposed, but he had warned Awas. They reached Junie down the path, slashing and stabbing, but they made little noise. He was in sight of the Zanmir store's edifice when something grabbed his tail, pulling him to the ground. A Kathringi thug raised her dirty axe to finish him off. He cried out and then hurled a Kathringi knife, buried itself in the thug's throat. Awas emerged from the muck. She retrieved the knife and helped Junie to his feet. What did you know? Nodding to the Kathringi knife. A lesson from the dreams of the Hist, murmured Awas. To truly understand a foe, fight them with their own weapon. Junie stared at Awas and then grabbed the dead Kathringi's axe and hurried to the Zanmir. The statue bows as if pleased. Scarlet was... very hard.
You conquered the trial of the mind. Faster than Captain Hinamo, might I add. Perhaps he's not suited to feats of intelligence.
What is the next trial?
Your next trial is that of the heart, where unnecessary distraction and digression lead to failure. Follow the well-traveled path marked by statuary. Speed is of utmost importance. Nazooks awaits you at the finish. Are you ready?
I'm ready to take the trial of the heart.
Someone, please help me. Someone,
Please help me.
Why would someone steal from us? Who would take the relics? Their only value is historic.
What relics?
3 simple stone pieces, part of our heritage. No jewels, no gold, nothing a dry skin could value. Theft isn't unknown in Hismir, but it's rare enough I wouldn't know where to start looking for the culprit.
I'd help you find your
Such ardor. You might consider undergoing the trials of the burnished scales if you haven't already. I would welcome any help. I stored the relics in this cart. Perhaps one of the pilgrims observed something I did not.
Yeah, I'll go ask him.
I'll remain here to protect what relics are left, to guard these pieces of our heritage. Such a strange thought.
What are the stolen relics exactly?
Our history, carvings, keystones, and bits of Hismir itself. All of it rough old stone. Every season, we take them to our pilgrimage sites. They have no value to anyone but us. I'll remain here to...
One clearly ransacked this cart. On closer examination, you spot a small piece of ragged red cloth caught under.
Why do you bother me? I have troubles. Troubles!
You know anything about the stolen relics?
It happened last night. That's all I know.
We can use this.
The winds carry strange seeds to Hismir. Will they take root?
Some relics were stolen last night. See anything suspicious?
I saw nobody, but during the later watches last night, I woke when I heard someone running to the east. Perhaps it was the thief?
You would speak with me?
Someone stole relics from Warsome's cart last night. Did you?
I heard a strange noise by her cart. I saw one of my people wearing a red jerkin, and that's all I know.
The trials of Hismir. The trials serve as an offering of oneself to the Hist. For the Hist to trust the participant must first trust the Hist. The participant's mind, heart, and will are tested. Without a disciplined mind, one cannot comprehend the message of the Hist. Without a pure heart, one's purpose does not serve the will of the Hist. Without a warrior's will, one cannot safeguard the Hist for future generations. Be resolute and stay more. You notice a torn red shirt buried in the trash pile.
Kayak, do you make a habit of barging into houses?
The program saw you rummaging through Warum's cart last night.
I know nothing about stolen relics. Now get out of my house.
I never mentioned relics.
Wait. Some high elf pilgrim offered my tail's weight in gold for those things. But after he saw them, he said they were useless. Take the relics. I want nothing to do with any of this.
You should. Hidden Hands Journal. After putting me up for the job, the High Elf Pilgrim refused to buy the relics. Not suitable for my purpose. What do I care about his purposes? I hope the root rot poison burns through his stomach. What am I supposed to do with these hunks of... Return them? And the polite thing.
I feel nothing. My egg brother would be one with the Hist, returned and whole.
How could anyone, let alone a dark elf, desecrate the shrine of Saint Velos? It's scandalous.
Did you recover our stolen relics?
I recovered the relics from the Hidden Hand.
Are relics stolen by one of our own? He knew their lack of worth to outsiders. Perhaps his egg spent too much time in the shade before his hatching. No matter. It's enough you returned them to us.
You return?
I ran out of time.
You may attempt again. Remember, unnecessary distraction leads to failure.
Someone, please help me. Someone, please help me.
I've waited for you. You've undertaken the trial of the heart.
Did you make it in time?
You did, but that was not the true test. Was achieving your goal worth leaving behind someone in need?
Yeah, what's the next trial?
The trial of the Fang remains before you. You must fight while at great disadvantage. Bimikas will assist you in your preparations.
Well, what I was thinking was they planted her there, that she wasn't really hurt. They just planted her to distract. I wanted to stop and help her, but no, you told me not to.
Another chance at perfection.
Another pilgrim? So few today beyond yourself and that Dominion soldier. Are you ready for the trial of the Fang?
Where's Captain Hen?
He finished his trials before you arrived, and is currently in communion with the Hist. He must not be disturbed.
You administer the trial of the Fang?
I do. It's quite simple. Defeat any of these warriors in single combat to pass the trial of the Fang. Oh, and you must drink poison. Nothing permanent, just something to dull your senses.
You love
Here,
poison.
When you feel the poison's fire in your veins, challenge any warrior to single combat. Go prove yourself ready for the Hist.
What?
Hereby challenge
Your
you.
sickly pallor comes from root rot poison. Excellent. I accept your challenge, and I offer you the honor of first strike. I yield. You fight like Wamasu.
I see no lingering effects from the root rot poison. Aren't you a hardy one?
I completed the trial of the Fang.
Yes, and you did it well. Few make it past the trial of the mind, let alone all 3 trials. They're necessary to prepare one's body and spirit for what comes next. Good. I've prepared Hist sap in the bowl beside me. Drink it when you wish to commune with the Hist.
What will happen to me?
It is different for every pilgrim who drinks the Hist sap. You may speak words or think thoughts that aren't your own. When the Hist shows all it wants you to see, find Comax A at the highest tier of our pyramid. He'll help you interpret your visions.
Ready to drink the Hist sap?
My love, I found the right mixture. You've heard it before, I know, but this time I feel it in my scales. Drinking this will allow all of us to commune with the Hist. We'll regain what our people lost.
Then drink, husband. Prove the worth of your word.
I guess it's now or never. The Hist is in my mind. So strange. I must...
Good find, cohort.
Years of work, and it all comes to this. I almost don't believe it.
Of course, I prepared the Hist amber. Ready for you.
You should be the one. You communed with the Hist, refined the amber. Placing the Zot stones was enough for me.
Then I'll rouse Hismer's true power. It will work, Betsy.
It worked. Oh, and it's so beautiful. I must tell the others.
The Kothringi are upon us. Quickly, activate the Zot
What is it?
stones. By Sithis, keep your head down. Activate the Zot stones and drive back the Kothringi. Such power, were it ever to fall into the Kothringi's hands.
I think it was powerful. Actually, that spat some fire. That's my thing. The ruby necklace hefting another bale onto the loft, Makul felt the pain shoot through his shoulder once more. He rotated his shoulder, shrugging to release the tension. Thanks for your help, the Argonian trader said. He nodded at the Kothringi and lumbered away with his cart. For several months, the same trader came to Zuik bearing loads of hay for the horses. Makul's brother Hug, before he died, handled the transactions. He arranged deliveries, unloaded the bales, and made payments, and then the illness struck, a rash that stood out as bright spots against his skin, together with a high fever. Within a week, he was gone, and now Makul dealt with the trader. If only his muscles didn't hurt so much. Clearly he lacked the strength of his late brother. He needed to try harder, though he preferred studying and reading to any physical labor. I need to check the ledgers anyway, he said to himself as he headed to his hut. He let the books go during his brother's illness, and the latest delivery should be entered. When he opened the payment register, a slip of paper fluttered to the floor. He recognized his brother's handwriting and picked it up. Beware the ruby necklace. Makul frowned. They couldn't afford necklaces, much less rubies. What did his brother mean? Shrugging, he threw the crumpled note into the brazier beside his desk, draped a cloak over his legs, and settled down to bring their accounts up. He felt so cold. That night he saw his reflection in his wife's concerned face. He found him coughing and shivering at his desk. She half carried him to bed. A line of red welts, telltale rash, circled his throat. Rubies, he mumbled, clawing at his skin as the flu claimed its latest victim.
Someday you'll make something surprising with that.
You return. As Root Steward, I must say your vision remains a secret of the Hist and yourself. But for myself, I must ask.
That stone's
what did you see?
That stone's like those in Hismar, activated by Hist Amber.
Zot stones. The Hist may be showing you a way to defend Hismir against some future threat, but I have not heard of Hist Amber in an age. You should speak with Kamaxe. If anyone knows, he will.
It's Captain Hannibal.
Gone. Whatever the Hist showed him, he was in a hurry to act. Perhaps his people are threatened as well.
Unless he saw the same vision I did, and that's a problem. I'm gonna pop up over here. I have a feeling if I start that conversation, I will fail this.
What happened to our pilgrims? Where could they be? The pilgrims were supposed to arrive hours ago.
What pilgrims?
I expected some pilgrims from Forsaken Hamlet today. With the trials at hand, I must stay here. And none of the other route stewards have the time to search the Northeast Road. If you're headed that way, would you look for them?
If I find them, I'll let you know. But I have a, we learned from the previous map that if I do some of the city's big quests first, then I lose access to some of the small.
Ew. Be sure to wash your hands.
They're still warm. They die very... You find another dead pilgrim. Her throat was cleanly cut with a blade, and from the damage to her body, she clearly fell to the nearby cliff. Like the others, her body... side. So.
Good find, cohort.
Have you found any signs of our missing pilgrims?
Yeah, I'm so sorry. The Dominion soldiers killed the pilgrims. I slain them in turn.
What would the Dominion gain by keeping pilgrims from the trials? It is senseless.
The look in your eyes. You've communed with the Hist, I see. You and the Dominion captain make 2 outsiders in one day. A portent if there ever was one.
You know about Hist Amber.
Fruit of the Hist. Its magic once powered the Zot Stones, protecting us from our enemies all those years ago. But the Hist haven't borne fruit in an age. Why do you ask?
It was in my vision.
Oh no. Captain Hinamo also asked about the Hist Amber. Then he left here in great haste. If he possesses any amber, he could use the Zot Stones upon the root stewards, the pilgrims, everyone in Histmere. Why would the Hist show him this vision?
Where did he go?
Toward the western ruins. If you find any Hist amber, keep it from Captain Hinamo's hands and return it as swiftly as you can. Should the Dominion plan to capture Histmere for themselves, I must prepare a defense.
I'll recover any Hist Amber I find.
I pray the Hist Amber is lost to the ages. Captain Hinamo must not control Histmere's lost power.
Why would the Hist reveal the secret to Captain?
The Hist cares not for kingdoms or politics. It shares what we have forgotten. How we use its gifts is our doing.
Shorty. Sure, you were gonna tell me a bunch of where I didn't listen.
Much to learn from that one.
it all. Guess we'll go save the city. I see.
You have not pleased the Hist today. Rather, you fulfilled the Hist's expectations. A subtle distinction, but necessary to comprehend the Hist.
The Dominion won't threaten the Hismir.
You unlocked a secret from our past. One so well hidden we didn't see it ourselves. We'll retain this memory until it is lost once more. Then, in a time of great need, the Hist will reveal your deeds to our descendants.
So much further away than it needs to be, so... Oh my god. That I keep accidentally putting off because it's so far away from me. Look over here because a mother's nursery rhyme. Do you have 5 children, Mother? I've heard that you do. 5 children? No, not tonight. I have 4. 4 children, sweet and pure. 4 no. Do you have 4 children, Mother? I've heard that you do. 4 children? No, tonight I have 3. 3 children abed late today. 3 and no more. Do you have 3 children, Mother? I've heard that you do. 3 children? No, tonight I have 2. 2 children, quiet, shy. 2 and no more. Do you have 2 children, Mother? I've heard that you do. 2 children? No, tonight I have 1. 1 child singing a song. 1 and no more. Do you have 1 child, Mother? I've heard that you do. 1 child? Please, I have none. They're with their father now, and live here no. Oh, that's dark. All right.
How invigorating!
Oh, didn't I freeze you? No more.
And tranquility. Another chance of perfection.
Use. For a minute I did.
Light it, then! Or are you afraid to singe your furry tail?
This one's furry tail caught dinner, or have you forgotten? It is you who wanted to cook the meat.
They seemed a bit suspicious to me.
My thanks.
Thank you.
Slander. A very giving. I noticed he got mad too when I gave him a beggar's.
Marius has grown very impatient. I'm almost certain he'll use the poison for personal gain. It can't fall into his hands. I'll get it as far away from Marius as possible. You've saved numerous lives today. Marius, I'm onto your treachery. You won't get this poison. Thank you for entrusting the poison to me. I'll dispose of it safely.
What are you looking at? When Rhea's spell fades, she'll pay for this outrage.
That foot in Cyrodiil again, you're dead. Do you hear me? Dead! What's going on now? No GP remains. We got a dungeon over here that I do want to do, so I think I'm gonna run back that way. Go this way. Oh! Right. I was more busy eating.
Going to need a moment. I'm not a young man.
I could position myself over here. And I'm gonna leave you. Mostly because I got. Low. Low. Alright. We will delve these on the next episode. Thanks for keeping me company.